Liar.
Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you are out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
They can't. Oh, hey, everybody. Every time I hear that song, I just want to start praising, start going, it just gets me right in the mood for some worship. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Goon Squad. I'm Bobby Finstock. That's Courtney, Alex, and Neil Cordero, OG of the Goon Squad in the house. What's up, Courtney? How you doing, girl?
I'm good.
Awesome. Alex?
I'm good.
Neil?
Doing all right.
You have to ruin it.
God damn it, Neil. You have one job, man.
Oh, man. What a day. What a day. I am burnt out. But we are here. Talk some Miami Heat. The Heat currently up. I think let me go to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I think it's 27-21 on San Antonio. Or 23 now.
Again, dude.
There you go. 27-23. Spurs just
Would you
scored.
hit a three? Kevin Love hit a three? Perfect.
Kevin Love hit a three.
There you go. There you go. Oh my goodness! And the Heat, of course, they had a dominating win yesterday against the Orlando Magic. Very encouraging. At least I thought so. Some people are not so encouraged about it. But Neil hasn't been here, so I'd love to get Neil's take on the current situation with the Miami Heat. And obviously they were on that losing streak. They won, they lost, they won yesterday. It looks like they're winning right now. How are you feeling about the current Heat at this moment?
It's hard for me, because of last season and how I saw it go, I'm not getting too down about where we are record-wise and the losing streak that we just came out of, because, they showed me and all of us last year that they get into the playoffs, even as a play-in, and they can go to the NBA Finals. And until they don't do that, I'm going to assume that they can do it again, just because they have the same pieces here. And these players, like last season, you could see that they took it to the next level when they got to the playoffs. And so and if Tyler Herro can stay healthy in the playoffs, it'd be something that we didn't have last time. And now we have Terry Rozier, who is much better than Kyle Lowry. He gives us more than Lowry was doing. So I'm still pretty optimistic. And I've been seeing a lot of some of the other podcasters and some of the other talk shows kind of down on the Heat right now. I even saw Kendrick Perkins, make another Kendrick Perkins take. It's whatever. But I just I just can't. I don't understand how people can be so down on the Heat when last year this is the same exact team. This is the same exact way it happened. So let's just see what happens in the playoffs, because we know we're going to be there. And until they show me otherwise, I'm going to assume they'll do it again.
You're muted.
Epic fail.
First of all, the jackass in the comment there talking about my height, Alex over there.
Tell me it wasn't a funny optic though. Like everybody's, you were like.
Everybody talks about it all the time. It's just I'm more further back from the camera than everybody else. Sorry, I'll just get up closer. No, Neil, I agree with you. I would say the same thing. Alex and I touched on it last year before the playoffs, where Miami had not a very good team last year, but when just getting in to me was enough, because Miami Heat obviously, and I think they're more talented this year than they were last year, are a better team going into the playoffs and during a playoff run. I think the Heat match up pretty damn well against any team in a series compared to a regular season game. Let me see. William says, I agree. Only problem, no one will sleep on the Heat this time.
They didn't sleep on it last time either. We made the Eastern Conference Finals the year before. I mean, I don't know. Like, I get where he's coming from, right? I mean, and he's not wrong. Like, people are going to take us a bit more seriously. But Bam's playing better in the regular season this time around than he did last time. You know? And so maybe he's going to take it up a notch. Caleb Martin wasn't playing well in the regular season last year, and then look what happened in the playoffs. He turned it on. I mean, and you're actually going to get something out of these Terry Rozier minutes. And, you know, I was watching the Spurs play. Who are they playing recently? Was it the Magic? Yeah, the last Spurs game I went to was the Magic. And no. It was the New Orleans Pelicans. And who happens to be on the Pelicans that was on our team last year? You know? It's that center, that what's his name? The guy who would always come on in the minutes.
Zeller?
Zeller, dude. We don't have the Zeller minutes anymore.
The Zeller minutes.
The Zeller minutes are gone, dude. We don't have to freak out every time Zeller gets on there and a run happens and everybody knows it's going to happen, you know? There's a lot more to be optimistic about.
I don't have a Heat jacket, okay? I actually have one in the cart for next week.
There you go.
But I have a Falcons jacket.
She will get there. Don't rush her, William. Chill, bro.
You know what?
Chill.
No, William, if you'd like to buy me the Heat jacket, feel free. Otherwise, keep your opinions to yourself.
I'll be on with William tomorrow. We're recording an episode for his show, for his channel. I'm very excited about getting on with him. Great dude.
Recorded because he pre-records. Like that was my.
It's pre-recorded, yeah. It's pre-recorded, yeah. I think released Friday, so I'm excited about that. I'm sure talk Heat, Dolphins, all the above. But anyway,
make sure you wear the appropriate clothing because.
Well, you know, I'm not wearing Heat either. I was out, you know. My daughter obviously is a fever today. I told you guys she wasn't feeling well, been dealing with that work. You know, came home. She's actually knocked out over there. You know, and I went outside for a little bit because the kids always do, let's go play ball. And, you know, the weather's good. So I was like, all right, I'll play a little ball. And I was like, when I got done, I looked at him and said, oh, I'm actually pretty good. Everything's set. I'm going on. So I'm here. I just kept my sweater, just like that. And then let's go.
Let's go.
Send a super sticker. That's invalid. I would not say that's a fact. She better be quiet. I don't know why she's throwing anything out there.
We go live on Instagram then later.
You know, let's go ahead and delete that comment from Tati. Let's go ahead and put that user in timeout. No, I'm just fine.
Block the user.
Yeah, block the user. But what's happening tomorrow, everybody? I would say fellas, but I'll say everybody because we got a girl on and she's just as good. She's even better than most of us. So, but what's going on tomorrow? Does anybody know what's happening tomorrow afternoon? I mean,
my kids have a half day at school. Is that what we're talking about?
Alex, what's going on tomorrow, brother?
Tomorrow is the trade deadline.
NBA trade deadline. And of course, doesn't matter how much we love. Oh, okay, Alex. As much as we love the current roster and the players that are on that roster, the Heat somehow, some way are always brought up in trade scenarios, trade rumors. And some of the names out there, PJ Tucker, former Heat. Let's see if I got this right. Jeremy Grant is another one. DeMar DeRozan is another one. Alex and I talked about him earlier in the year. So let's run past these guys for a minute, okay? I might be missing somebody. And you guys let me know if I am. I think those are the top 3 names that I've seen. Alex, we'll go with you, brother. We had PJ. He did well. But, yeah, he's not somebody I don't think he moves the needle any sort of way. But let's see if Alex disagrees with me. Georgette, Alex, do you think the Heat are going to make a move? What's your gut feeling? And if they do, out of these 3 guys, who would you lean to?
Well, I don't think we're pressed to make a move. I do believe they're going to do due diligence. I don't believe any of those guys are going to be available for us, or we're going to meet the asking price realistically. Now, I do think one late development, the Highsmith situation. Highsmith was involved yesterday in a vehicle accident where he hit a pedestrian that was helping out another human being, another person, assisting another person. That pedestrian supposedly is in critical condition, had a leg amputation. So I'm pretty sure there could be some legal ramifications for Highsmith. But obviously, Neil, I'll let you elaborate a little bit on that since that is your expertise. So I don't see the Heat making a move out of pure necessity unless it involves maybe more depth now due to this situation. I do believe it will be more of a salary dump, if I can say, maybe like a Drew Smith trying to get under the second apron. Now, a name that I will bring up, I still go with it. I mean, there's always surprises at the end, but a name that I'll continue to stick with is Kelly Olynyk. I do believe we're gonna make a play for Kelly Olynyk some way, somehow. Um, I don't know if they're showcasing Martin. I do like the adjustments that Spo has made, even inserting Martin in this lineup, and we'll talk a little bit more in the show about it. But realistically, out of the options you gave me, fit wise, pure fit, no money, Jeremy Grant is the best fit, because you already
Yep.
have a lot of situations with DeRozan where you see the way Rozier and Hero are getting comfortable. They're a week, 2 weeks into this. Jimmy got some ear pulled and he's on attack mode. He's not just chilling anymore for a while. There's certain things that you need from Jimmy that people always think about Jimmy aggression and the, like, field goal attempts. When I really see when I value it, I'll put my coach's hat on, and when I see aggression from Jimmy, what I see is the free throw attempts. The fact how they continue to rev up. And yesterday he had what, 9 shots, 10 shots officially, but he got to the line. He got his team aggressive. And if you notice yesterday, the balanced attack, Bobby, that you mentioned about the way we dominated the Magic, it was a balanced attack across the board. This is how this team is going to be successful when Jimmy's in the fold. Like, he has to be the leader in regards to attacking, but not being over aggressive. You have to come out with a purpose. And unfortunately, when Jimmy plays, this team tends to follow their leader. And that's why you see sometimes, why do the Heat play differently when Jimmy doesn't play? Because they know Jimmy's not going to be there. Everybody's just going to play their game. So it was that players only meeting, or the team meeting with Spo in that film session. You saw the difference with the defensive tenacity they came out, the defensive disposition. So trade-wise, we made our move with Rozier, I believe, this year. I genuinely believe that. I believe we're going to be more buyers at the buyout market, which is why we want to dump some salary, like a Drew Smith contract. We're probably going to trade Thomas Bryant as well. I would not be surprised, though, if we do move from Martin. But now this whole Highsmith situation might change a few things. And it might get cleared up before. So it might just be nothing. And it'll be a situation where there is no legal ramification for him. But we have to see how it develops. But on fit alone, I love Jeremy Grant. But I'm not going to give Portland what it's going to cost me, because they're going to ask for Herro. They're going to ask for a first-round pick. I'm not going to give them that for that, because 2026 is going to be a huge free agent class as well. So Miami's thinking in the forefront. Even with Rozier's contract, there's a plan in place with that. So they're not going to attach more money aside from Herro, and bam, are those long terms in that year. So I don't see us genuinely making any other move like that unless it's an expiring deal.
So, Courtney, what are your thoughts on this and any response to the guys?
I don't see a trade happening. I'll be honest. I think that people are asking for a little more than we'd be willing to give at this point. I think if you look at the history of the Heat, we don't give. Oh, I don't know. I saw the stuff with Jeremiah Grant, but everyone's saying that people are going to want like Herro or Nikolai for it. I think we're only probably willing to give up like a Caleb. So I don't know if we're going to get rid of the vital pieces, even though Herro's really not been on recently. I don't see us giving up the core just to add another piece. I think that would disrupt things, especially after this players only meeting. And it seems like they're finally starting to gel a little bit better. As I'm watching them miss threes left and right. But I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I think the prices are too steep.
So let me go ahead and Anthony, I guess we're answering your question. Anthony Manzano, appreciate you tuning in. He says, who do you guys think the Heat make a trade for? Is it going to be a big-time player that we give up our draft pick for? First off, you can't trade the first rounder for this year. That pick is not right. I'm right, Alex. Right? We can't move that pick this season. The draft pick. You're on mute.
This season?
Yeah.
I think our rights are still with OKC. They gotta clear it up. I'm not sure. Or is it 2025?
I think it's 25. This pick, we own this pick, but I don't think we can move it.
We can move it if we want to because we picked Hawkins last year.
Okay.
I gotta see that. I gotta make sure, but yeah, we can move it if we own it right now. We can move it.
Okay. Alex lives next to an airport. I think that's an airplane flying over.
Well, literally, I would try and mute myself once in a while, but the airplanes always go above our house. So yeah.
Yeah, and Alex, are you cold?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Your wife texted me and says you need a blanket.
Man. They're just there watching me from my dining room table.
That's why you were saying, Bobby. I got trouble. She's made for me. She's like, he needs a blanket. Sends me a picture, and I'm like, 55.
It's amazing here, man. It's amazing.
Shut up. It must be nice. Okay?
It's great. It's great.
No one likes the braggy pants.
65 degrees, Court. 65 degrees.
I'm gonna send you ice.
I love the weather. I love when it's cold out.
It's 27 here. Do you want to trade places?
Hell yeah, I love cold weather.
Bob, when we did the show in your house, what was it? Was it 30-something? 31?
Yeah, it was low, dude. Remember, and the temperature kept dropping. We did this. We had air. We did it outside.
We started the show, and by the time the show ended, I couldn't feel my fingers.
Well, the thing is, Alex, you know what the difference is? No, I'm not gonna say.
Oh,
finish that sentence.
No, I'm good.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear at the class.
No, I'm good. I appreciate it. We're all good.
Anyway, I want to keep the
show. No, I don't want to get murdered on Dateline. Hence the Puerto Rican that lives with me and it's right next door.
I formed an alliance with your wife. I hope you realize that.
Yeah, I know it was a mistake. I should not have let you guys do it. Anyway, no, it's funny. Anthony, see, I disagree with you, Alex. I think we trade Tyler Herro. Well, Anthony, who do you think they use Tyler Herro for?
Well,
that's what I'd like.
You can't trade Tyler Herro right now because you'll be trading too low. You can't.
Well, that's my thing. So okay. Look, first of all, I think Courtney's point was, I think, right on. In regards to the core of the team, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, unless what you're getting back is worth the trade, you don't move Herro. You don't move him, like Alex is saying, for either a lateral move or a decline. You're reaching for this guy. And first off, it's Portland. I don't know how you make a move with Portland after everything that happened with Portland. That's the other thing. Because I think Jeremy Grant is a great fit for the Heat. If you could get that guy, I'm okay. I mean, but Tyler Herro, Jovic, I don't know. I don't know if that's a little much for that guy.
Yeah.
Let's throw some names out. This is from yardbarker.com. And let's play around with this. And originally from Last Word on Sports. These are names that they believe the Heat should look at, okay? And I'm going to read them off, and Neil, you go ahead and you start off with the names, like which ones that you like, and which ones are like, yeah, I don't see it. But PJ Tucker, obviously. Alex brought up Kelly Olynyk. His name is there. The big name, I guess that would be a big name with Donovan Mitchell. We all know that. That's been connected forever. Darian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal, Jeremy Grant, Caruso, Miles Bridges, Andre Drummond. We know DeMar DeRozan, and then Lauri Markkanen, which we know that's Alex's guy. So Neil, I'm going to start with you. Out of those, now we know which ones are like the big names where you're going to have to give up a pretty damn penny for. Okay, but you hear these names. First off, fantasy booking. Who's the guy like, man, if we could get that guy, I would love to have that guy. But then what's your realistic one where you go, okay, if we had to do one, this is the most realistic one that actually could help the Heat?
Man, I mean, it's – so I want to preface all this by saying that I'm essentially with Courtney and Alex. I don't think they're going to do anything really. But if like the guy that stands out to – one of the guys that stands out to me the most on that list Dorian Finney-Smith would be nice. They're just going to ask way too much. There's no way we're going to be able to get that guy. I like Jeremy Grant too, but we can't match those contracts without giving up Herro, and they're not going to give up Tyler Herro. So that's probably not going to happen. You said Miles Bridges. Bridges would be good too, But again,
that's a name I'll watch.
Are they going to take what we're going to give them? Because it's going to be Caleb Martin. This team knows that they're a lot older than, well, at least with Jimmy, they know that they need to prepare for life without Jimmy. So they're not going to want to trade their future away, which would be trading away the first-round pick and our second-round pick, So if anybody asks for picks, this team isn't going to do that, because they need to prepare for life without Jimmy. So the most realistic one on that list is also somebody that I don't want right now because I don't really think we need them, but I get why the Heat might do it, and that's Kelly Olynyk. The Heat want to get bigger, and they know Kelly, and this team tends to go after people that they know. They bring them back, you know what I mean? And Kelly would be that guy. But again, what are we giving up to get Kelly, he'll stretch the floor a little bit. He can hit threes still, and I think he's a bit more reliable than Caleb right now. But if they ask for picks, no, you know what I mean? I don't think they're just going to take Caleb, So that's kind of where I'm at. I think I agree with Courtney. This is just going to be a nothing burger on the deadline, you know what I mean?
So
this game without the consent of the NBA as well. So
I think we're not actually. I don't think we're actually showing it. I think she just kind of. It's like when people do a bunch of blurry stuff and they show a little bit here and there. It doesn't really count.
I was showing the score.
Yes. Which update on the score? It's 42-38, right? San Antonio.
Left and right. Duncan's missed.
That won't last long. I've been doing those Spurs games. I know how this goes.
I'll make a prediction. I'll make a prediction
for
the
decent
trade packages.
Half and they fail in the end.
But after the trade deadline, my goal, or after the buyout deadline, I think the Miami Heat, we won't have Drew Smith. We won't have Thomas Bryant. Possibly Caleb Martin, but maybe Caleb Martin does pull through. But for sure, some way, somehow, we'll move Thomas Bryant, Drew Smith, and a second-round pick. That is my players going out by the trade deadline or before the buyout market. I don't think aside from that, whatever that can get you back, because Miles Bridges, if I'm not mistaken, he's under a minimum contract, right? Did he sign his qualifying? Remember, he was suspended last year for the domestic abuse case.
Yeah.
And there's rumors that he might end up in Phoenix, which is kind of crazy where they one twin is gone or one brother's gone, and then Phoenix ends up with the other Bridges. But out of all the names, that one intrigues me from Miami. I like Bridges' game in Miami. He's small, but he plays like a big power, like a small four, but he fits what you're doing.
Yeah, I like Bridges too, for sure. I mean, I like Bridges too, but they're just.
Neil, did you see what Anthony asked you?
Man, listen, if they were selling Cat, they're not. But if they were, I would. I mean, the fit is interesting because it kind of changes everything. You'd have to have Cat and Bam on the floor together, and I don't know how that would work out. But I like Cat's game. You
put Cat at the 4. I think Cat would be great at the 4.
Yeah,
Cat stretches you out. He stretches you out.
And so,
and he can rebound.
But there's no way that's happening. You know
what I mean? What are you giving? And then again, what are you realistically giving up to have that? You know what I mean?
They're gonna want. They're gonna want our picks, and we're not giving up any picks.
Tyler or Bam. They're gonna ask for Bam, and we're gonna say
they're
no.
probably gonna ask for Bam too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So Neil, let me ask you something because I know you. First of all, you know me. I love. We cover the draft for the last couple seasons now. I love covering the draft and loving draft picks. But with this current Heat roster, just like the Dolphins, they're thinking about winning. They're not thinking of, I know Alex talks about 2026. Alex has been saying that since we were kids. Here looking at the 1999 free agency class. They're looking at the 2003 free agency class. They're looking at the 2010 free agency class. He always goes out to every other year. They're looking at Giannis. They're looking at this guy.
Team building.
Yeah, but that's Alex. They're not going to reset. They're not going to trade this guy because they're waiting for 10 years from now when this kid's a free agent.
Have I been right for the most part?
No, because we haven't got Giannis. We haven't got.
No. Well, that's another discussion. But
yeah, but right or wrong, but come on, dude. It's a record. We got
Giannis, I'm like, if Bam doesn't sign his extension, we have a chance for Giannis. Bam signs his extension. All right, we're not getting Giannis. That's fine. That's good. That's gone. That was the only thing I said.
Anyway, what I'm saying is, again, I think the Heat, the Heat don't really, how do I say, covet their first round picks like other teams do because they're in that win now mode. So, a first round pick, especially if it's a player who they think could move the needle, I think they would move that pick. Second round pick, I think they do have a second round pick. They may keep that pick.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but again, Gallinari, that Anthony put that name in there as a buyout target. If it goes down, that makes sense. He fits. Bogdanovich is another one for sure.
Bogdanovich would be great.
But let me ask something. When you mentioned about these first round picks, this is one thing that people don't understand, and they like to use this a lot. They're like, oh, we'll trade all our picks and all that. The Heat, like I believe 6 franchises right now, we are between the first and the second apron. These picks for us, for Miami, in the late first round picks or in the late teens, they're more valuable for Miami, believe it or not, than they are for other teams. Why?
Yeah.
Because we always hit on these picks. The scouting department and you have affordable quality talent like a Jaime Jaquez that you have them on their team control for 4 years. So you manage that salary while you have max players. Yeah. That's why people are like, oh, that's what Miami, if you notice, they've changed a little bit. They're not just shedding picks anymore.
I think because they've hit on these picks. They've hit on these picks. They're realizing.
Alex is 100%.
And you build your roster with that. You build your core with that. Around your core, you build it with that. And developing players. But a lot of people are not attracted by those picks because they don't want late teens or 20 picks. They want you want the picks that are in the lottery every year. Miami's picks are never going to be in the lottery consistently. We might, but it's very rare. So those first round picks, that's where you're not going to see them just moving it like crazy because it
has to be for a guy that can actually move the needle. But I'm with you 1,000%. The Heat in the last 2 seasons with Jovic, who obviously has a high ceiling, but Jaime, who right away hit, the Heat see, I don't have to go and trade or give away something or put a big contract for a low tier guy. I could go draft a player and he contributes right now. So I think going forward in the draft, we got to look for guys, excuse me, not about development, but more about who can contribute right now for the Heat. Courtney, any response to what we're talking about?
No.
And what's the update on the game? That's good.
I love the honesty of that. I was like, no, absolutely not.
But the shot clock was running down. We're missing threes, and we finally made one to tie it. And so I was like locked in.
Who was it, Duncan?
Oh, I would have had a bigger reaction.
Oh.
No, it was actually Robinson. Not Robinson, Richardson.
Josh Richardson.
Well, I was about to say, she said Robinson. I'm like,
it's like Duncan knows Robinson. Okay, sorry.
Orlando Robinson.
Yeah. They're just clicking, man. They're clicking.
Then I think that was like the first 3 we've made. We've been missing threes left and right.
I mean, the Spurs are a really bad basketball team, so I'm not going to get too hyped about this one, But
here's the difference. The difference in this game? They're not missing threes as much.
Yeah,
they're missing more.
They're hot. They're hot.
So I don't know if we can let Richardson cook. He's been impressing me. He's really
Whoa, I don't know if you've seen it, Court. Remember when we were talking about last week or the week before when we were talking about rotations and how we stagger the lineups? Yep. You saw what Spo did now. So what Spo is doing, he's taking Jimmy out and bringing Jimmy back in. So he's subbing Jaime quicker than he was before.
Because Jaime wasn't working with Jaime, and Jaime's sitting there in the corners,
there you
gotta
go.
utilize him better than that. And it's fine. You're finally starting to see that. You're starting to see them gel. Because if you also remember during the losing streak, the communication, they weren't catching open men, the passing was poor, they were just all cylinders were off. And I think you kind of see them gelling now. You see the lineups hitting. I see Rob, my boy, has been in already, so I'm happy. You all know.
And sometimes you go through these slumps, and like people have this vision of this team, and that's why I preach patience when you ever do a trade like this of a core piece, because Rozier wasn't just, yeah, Rozier is not your main three, but Rozier is going to be a core piece for you that is going to create offense for you. So whenever you have a player that you insert like that, you have to give it some time to gel. And we were going, it was kind of like it was like when it rains it pours. It was that same situation. We were struggling where Jimmy, and they've talked about this a long time. Miami, and actually, Ethan Skolnick brought it up. One of the last podcasts that they did. Miami has been very lenient with Jimmy because Jimmy has lived up to his end of the deal. Miami is usually very strict with these players where they don't have the leeway to do things outside of team rules in regards when they're on the road. Jimmy has a lot of leeway, and Jimmy has always gotten the ability to like, all right, you can coast. I know you've had some injuries the last couple of years, so we'll work with your team, with your doctors, and we'll devise a plan. But one of the things that we talked about when we started doing the show again was the fact that Jimmy looked disconnected. Jimmy looked like he was just in airplane mode. He was just chilling, hanging out. And I'm like, all right, I don't need Jimmy like this all the time, but we do need him engaged. You do need to lead your squad. So I'm glad that it's all in sync now. Yep. There's still going to be some changes to the lineup. Spo is still tinkering a little bit. I do see eventually, even down the line, depending on what happens, there is a chance that even Jovic might start at the 4 with Bam by the time the season ends, because you want to revamp your reserves, burying any injuries, things like that. They like the Martin connection because it does give you more flexibility. And Highsmith was struggling shooting wise, so he can give you defense, but if he's not hitting his threes, that's when the whole PJ Tucker came in, Bob. And when you asked about PJ Tucker, I'm iffy on PJ Tucker because of the age, but do I feel that he can slide right in and fit a role? Absolutely. But it's going to come at a cost in other sections. So that's like your option C if everything else fails. You just want a depth piece. But the money has to work too. So you're moving Martin, you're moving Drew Smith, you're moving a lot of pieces to get to the money. But it's going to be, some trades have gone down. I believe, what was it? I know Detroit traded, oh my God, what's the guy, number 5? I forgot his name now. They traded him to, oh Lord, man. I'll get back to you. Hold on. Because I know that like 2 or 3 trades have happened in the last hour or 2. So we can recap those.
So right now, it's about, Courtney, was it 7 seconds left in the second quarter?
I'm done. It's halftime.
It's halftime? Okay, so 53-51 Miami? Yeah. Okay. So Adebayo and Herro lead the scoring for the Heat at 12 apiece. Terry Rozier at 6 points. Jimmy Butler 8. Martin 4. Jaquez 3. Richardson 5. Duncan, give me a second here, 0, and Love 3.
Disappointing.
Alex for a minute because of the airplanes.
We're 20% on threes, and they're 26.7% on threes. So we're both sucking on threes, but they're sucking a little less.
Oh, the trade, the Timberwolves once again contended. They acquired Monte Morris from the Pistons, so that's a great depth piece. And
what did they give up?
Shake Milton, Troy Brown, and a 2030 second round pick.
Okay.
So you're going to see a lot of second round picks be moved. By the way, you will see that.
Did you know I was a Timberwolves fan growing up? I don't know if I told you that. I was a Timberwolves fan.
Huh?
I was a Timberwolves fan.
You were?
As a child.
What, Kevin Garnett, Stephen Marbury years? Of course. Wally Serbiak.
It was Garnett.
Brandon.
He was my Duncan. Yeah. My family was Laker fans. And I was like, I liked Lakers too. I wasn't like huge into basketball. I was like a cheerleader. I played basketball, but I saw Kevin Garnett. And for just those years, I was locked in on the Timberwolves. It was like a very random thing, but yeah.
And that will always be one of the biggest what ifs. If they would have been able to sign Stephen Marbury.
Yeah.
Well, because of Kevin Garnett, the Kevin Garnett contract was the one that created the whole salary structure for rookies and the whole lockout, because he was a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and he got a 6-year or like a 7-year, $120 million deal. And then Stephen Marbury left, requested to be traded because of those contracts. Mm-hmm. But them together, that duo, there would have been no Kobe and Shaq, man. They would have dominated the West for years, man. They were
Let
perfect
me
for each other.
let
though.
me
Hey,
ask
Bobby,
you.
I gotta take off,
Go ahead.
man.
Go ahead, Neil.
Oh,
I'll see you
love
guys.
you, man.
Thanks a lot.
Later,
y'all.
brother.
All right, buddy. Take care of one before me.
Yeah, I just remember my first ever like NBA player was like, you know, I liked Kobe then, but I was Garnett. I was all
Garnett.
Garnett.
And their jerseys were cool.
Well, you know what? Because, you know, dolphin colors, like they weren't as far off with like the greens. Or like, you know, but yeah, I mean I wasn't like a diehard and I was a kid. I mean I was like, you know,
So,
young. But yeah,
let me make sure.
I remember just going to the slam covers to see him and Stephon Marbury, and obviously he with the baggy jeans, and you're like, damn, the big ticket. I'm like, everybody wanted to be Kevin Garnett.
Do you remember back then, like the baggier your pants?
Yeah.
Like the cooler. Now, like my
Yep.
snowboard pants, and I'm like, those are real tight. Like,
Yeah. Oh, and you know what's crazy? Now they're going back to the baggy pants. Like style now, it's just recycled. Like if you look, for example, look at the athletes when they're hanging out and all that, or like superstars, and notice how big the jeans are again.
Teenagers, though, the teenagers, their shorts rival mine. Like the boys.
Okay.
Like it's like above it, like 5-inch inseams. I'm like, this makes me uncomfortable. I was used to like a guy like didn't show his kneecap. Like that was.
Oh, but I'm telling you, our players, Bob, this is hilarious, man. Our guys, their jerseys, we have like I think like 8-inch inseams. They roll up. It looks like dough. Like you remember how like the girls would roll up their skirts?
That's what cheerleaders did. We would roll up
yes.
Yeah.
And they roll up their shorts because they want the shorts to be between like halfway down. Like their kneecap is like it's almost 6 inches above their kneecap. They're playing like the basketball players in the 80s, man. Legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so funny, bro, how that just turns around.
Well, I would just think that gives you a little more freedom to you know, a little less, you know,
it does
compared to what it was.
And shit.
So let's touch on some trades around the NBA. First of all, Neil left. I know, but we were talking on Tyler Herro. You know, we don't think they're either going to break up their big three. Mm-hmm. But with some of these names, you know, again, you're looking at like Lauri Markkanen, thinking of the bigger names, Donovan Mitchell, so DeMar DeRozan. I guess I could put him in there. Courtney, I'll start with you, and then Alex, you can follow up. And this is just hypothetical, okay? But realistically, if you could get one of those guys, is Tyler Herro worth giving up for one of those guys?
Not one of them. I feel like it'd mostly be a lateral move. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I just this close to the point we're in the season. I don't know if I would break it up just for strict like meshing. They had the in-player meeting, like we're gelling. I don't want to throw another wrench. Like you see how long it took us to get Rozier, you know, transitioned in and get it gelling, and it's finally starting to move. I don't want to do it. But after the season, I'd part with him.
Okay, so it's the under. Yes, absolutely, that makes sense, and it's fair, especially if they don't win a championship or get one and done in the playoffs. Absolutely. Alex, same question. You know, I know how much you love Lauri Markkanen, and I know we've touched on Donovan Mitchell in the past, but hypothetically, because more than likely he don't make up that type of move right now. But if it could happen, and if you were presented this, is Tyler Herro worth any of those guys?
It would depend on the situation, like you just mentioned. And it's you reassess, because then you're starting to value what it will cost you aside from Tyler Herro and the Jimmy years, because there's a reason they have not moved Herro, and they've only made Herro available for a Damian Lillard and a Kevin Durant. Like Herro hasn't been available for other players. So do I see them maybe moving it for Donovan Mitchell? Yes. For Lauri Markkanen, I don't see it. I really don't. I do see. I think it's Donovan Mitchell and above that they'll move Herro. I do believe that they see in him a core piece with Bam for years to come, especially now that you have Jaime. So you saw how they were playing, and even how he matches up with Rozier. So you can never have too much scoring in the NBA. His defense has improved. You're definitely not going to move him now, because you're not going to sell Tyler Herro Tyler Hero, he's been one of these players. Unfortunately, due to the situation, people have undervalued him consistently, and I don't think people understand how good of a player Tyler Hero is and what his role is, what he's being asked to do. Do I think we could even move into the 6-man role again? Absolutely. I think he will flourish in that role. Are they making it work with him starting? Yeah, absolutely. So I don't I would have to be presented with the situation, but it's definitely a Donovan Mitchell and above move. And if something that you reach this offseason, you fail again and you're like, okay, we need to change some pieces here. We already got Rozier. We need someone. Now is Mitchell gonna be compatible with Rozier? Or do we move Rozier and Hero? Like there's a lot of scenarios that are going to play out in the offseason if we fail. And I'm not saying it's win the NBA finals or fail. If you're getting to the NBA finals and you're 6-7 games, like you're right there and you see it. But there comes a point where it runs its course and you move. Now, is moving from Hero the right way? I don't know. Are they going to wait out these Jimmy years because Jimmy's going to be 35 next year, 36? That's when you know who they value. And the fact that they haven't moved Hero, I tend to lean to like they're not gonna move him eventually. He's gonna see this through.
I in regard to the Jimmy years, I do believe they'll see it through. I think this Jimmy's always talked about these young guys are gonna take over and I leave. I think it's an understanding between him and Heat management that he's here for the long haul.
Yeah.
Maybe this is his last contract. I'm not sure. But in regards to Tyler, we know that when there's smoke, there's fire. We know he was brought up in the Damian Lillard trade talks. We know he's brought up in the KD talks. I think you're right. I think the Heat do use him as bait. I don't think Bam is an option. I don't think Jimmy's an option. But I think Tyler Herro is that core piece that they say, okay, if we had to give up one guy to go get a bigger piece, he'd be that guy. I don't, and you're right. He is a very good player. But, how far have we gone with him being a part of the team? It's about what could help this basketball team get to the next step, not just making the finals, but winning the finals. Time to move off of Butler. No. The Heat's in a current window right now. Craig, with all respect, Heat are in a current window with Butler. Butler is the Tyreek Hill of the Miami Heat. Not as talented, obviously. But Tyreek Hill is up here with the Dolphins, but Jimmy for the Heat is their Tyreek Hill. He's the reason why they are where they are.
One of these things about many years from now, the Jimmy Butler years and the fact when he decided to come to Miami, I think is going to be known as like the rebirth of the franchise because it reignited this 100%. Franchise and reinserted us into the top sphere of the conference and the NBA.
You can follow up right what I'm about to say because I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
With Jimmy, you said it reignited the franchise. With LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, it was about LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. When LeBron left, the team went down, even though they stayed competitive.
Yeah.
Of course, Bosh had his heart condition. Wade ended up leaving to Chicago, and the Heat just kind of flatlined because it was about the stars. Right. With this Heat team, when Butler came here, even though Butler does what he does best in the final and the playoff Jimmy, it's not about Jimmy during the season. It's about everyone else. This team could survive throughout the season really on everyone else. And there's other guys contributing. It's not about the three core. It's about what everyone else doing their job like a Jaquez. So Butler is the Tyreek Hill. When Butler leaves, that window's going to close, and that's when the Heat could say, all right, who are we going to strip down and rebuild this roster so we can make that next run? Who do we build it on? Most likely it's Bam, unless Bam totally flatlines. Bam's that next guy. You go, okay, Bam's our centerpiece. Who do we put around him to make sure we can make that competitive run? So with all respect to Craig, no, it's not time to move off Jimmy Butler. Not at this time.
No, and realistically, even with the Jimmy, what I see is the evolution of Jimmy's twilight. Because Jimmy's, if you notice something, people haven't overlooked this, but Jimmy every year has improved his 3-point shooting percentage. Now this year, if you notice, Jimmy is picking his spots, but he's shooting 46% from 3. That's not a coincidence. He's working on the evolution of his game because he still can get to the basket at will. He can still create, but now Jimmy Butler becomes an asset. And this is one great thing about the Miami Heat. You make veteran players, you make all-star players even better in their prime, in their twilight of their career, because now you make them multidimensional. What was knocked 2 years ago? Jimmy's shot is broken. He can't hit anything. Now all of a sudden, Jimmy's shooting a high percentage again. Jimmy is being productive, and he's going to continue to produce. And I do see, and I tell this to people all the time, I do see this build where, yeah, it's a bridge because, yeah, we're maximizing Jimmy, but I think Jimmy is in tune with a franchise where they know what they have for the next decade, for the next 6-7 years. We're still going to compete, and we're going to win a championship in Jimmy's timeline, but we're going to continue to win. And I said it like a few weeks ago. I believe Jimmy's best teams and the most productive teams and the most successful Heat teams are going to be later in his tenure, like right now, this year, the following year, because you see what they're building. And now you have Jimmy, even at 35, 36, as I'm not going to say as a role player, a key member, but he's going to evolve into a lesser role, a lesser necessity for him, where he's still Jimmy Butler in spurts, but now you're going to have Jimmy the shooter, Jimmy the initiator, Jimmy the leader. So there's a lot of things here where that's why Jimmy said he's not going anywhere else, man. He's going to retire in Miami Heat. Like, this is it. Whether if this is his last contract, what I said yesterday was I do believe that maybe that last player option, because he has next year. The following year, 2026, he has a player option. I believe there might be a wink-wink deal where he declines that player option and he gets a 2-year guaranteed for less annual average. So he saves him like $20 million a year, but he gets another $20 million because he signed a 2-year contract. I do see that happening because people are looking around, and I'm not going to throw any names out there. The reason I said 2026 is there's a lot of situations with free agencies and potential people that could request a trade. And I don't think it's going to happen, but Giannis in Milwaukee, if you notice, the build that they have there for him, it aged. I believe Giannis will retire early. I believe Giannis will retire young. I genuinely believe that. Because what? That team is going to age. That team is aging already as we speak. They can't defend. They got Doc Rivers. What is their record, Court, since they got Doc Rivers? What did we talk about the other day? What is their record? 1-4.
Is it 1-4?
Since they got Doc Rivers. Yes. They cannot defend.
Didn't realize they won.
Doc Rivers cannot adjust.
That was mean.
You're muted again, Bobby. You're muted again. Oh, okay. On purpose?
Who cares? Yes. I got a snoring baby next to me. I'm doing the same thing.
Oh, people don't see that some of these rosters run its course, and you have the OKCs of the world, the Magic of the world, the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's Max Strus, a massive signing for them, and he's been a surplus defensively this year. Like, there's a lot of things that go on. New York made their move. Like, there's a lot of situations going on where we can have continued success and still compete at the highest level. I still think the Eastern Conference Finals will be Celtics and Heat, and in the Western Conference, it's going to be Clippers and Nuggets. Like, those are the teams. Those are the teams to beat. Maybe the Wolves. The Wolves make a move. You don't know.
Timberwolves.
Another move. Yeah. So there's situations like that could happen, and I do believe the Thunder need to make a move. Like, the Thunder, for example, need like a veteran presence because they're a young team, and they're maybe missing. I don't think you'll go there, but like a Kyle Lowry or like a Chris Paul again, which will be a great scenario for him, where he's mentoring again. But those are situations that is going to play out. I want to see what other move. I don't see a blockbuster move. But
That was my next thing. All right. And so first off, let's just run through very quick. We got a few more minutes left, but let's run through what's gone down so far. And then let's talk about what could possibly go down for the rest of the league, potential big deals or whatever that could impact the NBA. But right now, so after the Terry Rozier trade to the Heat, February 1st, Steven Adams went to the Rockets, Victor Oladipo, and 3 second-round picks went to the Grizzlies. Simon Fontecchio to the Pistons, Kevin Knox and more to the Utah Jazz. Xavier Tillman, this was today. Tillman to the Celtics, 2 second-round picks, and Lamar Stevens to the Grizzlies.
That's a good move.
And Monte Morris to the Timberwolves, Shane Milton, Troy Brown, and second-round pick back to the Pistons. Bruce Brown is rumored to move. He hasn't yet. But, Alex, what was the good move that you thought?
Well, I love the move for the Timberwolves, and I love the Celtics move because they need to shore up interior defense. What I said about the Bucks not having perimeter defense after trading Drew, the Celtics got much better with that Xavier Tillman move. So those are situations that, and Monte Morris with the Timberwolves, that gives them a depth piece behind Anthony Edwards. So those are situations that are be essential. The Pistons move, that was just obviously a lateral move that they're not going to get much. That's the Jazz. The Jazz are going to collect more second round picks. I do believe the Jazz are going to move from Kelly Olynyk where he ends up. That's another situation. I will be surprised if they move Sexton. I want to see honestly where DeJounte Murray ends up because there's some sleeper teams, and the Lakers seem to be like they might hold pat, but then at the same time they can overbid because this roster kind of ran its course. So and now you have the whole situation with LeBron. If he's gonna opt in next year, if he's gonna be moved, like there's a lot of moving parts where some of these franchises are very close um, to competing or are competing, and they're a move away or a year away or an injury away from having to rebuild. So that's why this deadline is a little weird. I mean, Chicago once again is going to stand pat. At this point, I don't know what they're doing. I think Chicago can move Vucevic and all that. Keep Lonzo, keep Levine. That's fine, and Kobe White. But like you've been in the same situation for 3 years now. So there are teams that could. It's just that one domino. People I think are waiting for this big major domino to fall, and I don't know if there's one this trade deadline. I genuinely don't believe a big name is going to be moved aside from like DeJounte Murray.
What do you think, Courtney? Do you see any kind of big trade moving that would actually impact the NBA landscape?
Honestly, if it's not the Heat, I don't pay attention.
That's good enough.
I'm gonna be honest. It's not like football where I'll pay attention to like everything that's going on. I really just narrow it on the Heat. I know things about the Sixers, but that's just like that I hear people talking. Right now.
Of course.
Whoa,
fair enough.
When you say Sixers, though, I think they're gonna fall. They're gonna fall in the standings.
Well, Embiid, I think, is out for a long time, from what I'm hearing, or at least from what they're sounding like. I mean, and without Embiid, I don't think that they're going to be. Yeah, they're definitely falling without him.
Don't try to make a move, but
do you see this trade package being discussed right now? Between Utah and Toronto, Utah Jazz. The package being discussed: Bruce Brown to Utah. Toronto Raptors receive Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbuji. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, man, before the Terry Rozier trade, Bruce Brown was that like wild card move for me. I would like Bruce Brown on the Heat, but I don't think that move's going to happen. I do think the Caruso deal, like if you were to get DeMar DeRozan, I would say you got to add Caruso to that. I think Caruso would be a good fit for the Heat right now, and be going to be out for at least a month or so. Yeah.
That's going to impact them.
It's a free fall. It's going to be a free fall for them.
Yeah,
Maxi's going to ball out, but that's it.
Anthony Manzano says, I like Tyler Herro, guys, but at best, I feel he's to be a better version of JJ Redick. I don't think he's a player you could build around. But you're not building around him.
Yeah, he's the piece.
He's a part of the core, but he's not the. Right now, it's Jimmy.
Right.
Then it's going to be, is it Bam or whoever else they grab? But so. Look who has to be the center of attention tonight. Yes, I'm not dead.
Not me.
Courtney, I assume you're the center of attention. So
Haters are gonna hate. That's all I can say.
It is what it is. All right. So
by the way, it's my really official NBA stream. I lost it.
You lost it? Okay.
It happens, but
it's what it is. Get the ZN. Like Evan would say.
No, it's back. We're good. We're back. I just refuse to pay for the NBA package when I just had to pay for Sunday ticket. Like, give me a break.
I hear you. I don't blame you.
And let me vibe.
Haywood Haysmith, I heard that he got to that car accident, but here's the report is that reportedly he struck an individual who was assisting another driver stranded on the road on Tuesday night. The victim is in critical condition and sustained a partial amputation of his leg. Geez, Aloo.
I have a few questions. One, was he sober? Two, was it nighttime? What are the street lights?
Exactly.
It was night. Yeah, they were coming back.
If they had a stranded vehicle and these guys they didn't have any lights up or reflectors, and it's dark, sometimes I could see how it could maybe not be a legal issue.
Yeah,
Could be a civil. They could still sue him. And
it could be exactly.
But there won't be criminal charges. I think criminal has to be intent, has to be something.
Careless, yeah, vehicular manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter.
Speeding, something crazy. But so I feel like I need details. I need more details about it. As he was just driving, it's a sharp turn. There were no lights. They didn't have any hazards on, and they're standing next to it in his lane. Maybe reaction times that I can see.
The wording is what struck me, because the way they worded it exactly, he hit a pedestrian that was assisting. And here in Miami, in that area, especially in the arena, there's a lot of construction going on. So by the wording, it was.
Thank you, Evan.
It's not the only one. No, it's true. It's true. You just hope it's not one of those situations where you're on your phone and
they'll pull phone records.
So those are the
pull records, find out if it was active. But it's gonna be, that's months of an investigation though, because to subpoena the records, this isn't gonna happen overnight.
Of course.
So it's hard to really say. I would assume if he's not in jail right now, if he wasn't taken into custody, it's going to be up to the Heat whether they let him play while this investigation plays out.
Yeah.
Or they're going to suspend him and say, hey, stay home while the
that's definitely something you see there.
It's going to really depend on the details that we're probably not going to be privy to unless this guy's family comes out. You know what I mean? Until a story comes out, until details come out. But
and also the psychological effect it has on you, because you just affected, you changed someone's life, and you could have ended someone's life if you were careless or reckless, or so like you said, the details have to come. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how I would react. I mean, that would sit with me for days, weeks, and then if it was my fault in me being
exactly the guilt. Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be a developing story. But I think it's a good sign, at least immediately, that he wasn't taken into custody. Because if he was DUI drunk, like a Henry Ruggs situation.
Oh no, that's for sure.
He would have been in. So if they didn't take him straight into custody, it leads me to believe that it might not be criminal charges. They can still come back after an investigation and charge you criminally. But I think it's going to be up to the Heat and how they may just tell it. He may need to take a few weeks or days to just they say he wasn't injured, but he could still have been seatbelt burn. He could still have minor injuries that he just didn't get treated for, and mentally something. Wow, Evan is going in. When I drove Bobby around, I put him in a booster seat. That's a good one. You're muted again.
You're on mute, Bobby. You're on mute again.
Oh, I think I just meant to hit put Alex on mute, since I hear every airplane and helicopter flying past, but I hit myself. Heat right now up 67-66.
I don't like how close they keep pulling these leads. I like it.
But it always happens this way, when it comes to bad teams, they always play down to their competition. When they play against good teams, they do well. It's odd for me.
Yeah.
Evan, you'll be doing bandwagon this Thursday night, right? You're back to bandwagon, are you? Since you're in the comments.
It's funny how different the Dolphins are. The Dolphins dominate the terrible teams, and then they'll absolutely crumble to the good team. And the Heat are the opposite. The Heat are oh, you're a terrible team. We're gonna be terrible tonight too.
Yeah, we'll play. We do it for you.
Same. We'll get to even the playing field. It's a different emotional battering that I get.
And then you get the Marlins, and then we'll see what we do with the Marlins.
Well, I don't follow football, so
You don't follow baseball at all?
Don't, but I did meet a girl on Twitter.
Whoa.
I know. And she's a big Phillies fan, and since I'm in Philly, so she said she would take me to like a game, and she was kind of like, she's like a sports journalist up here, and she was like, yeah, I'll try to explain the game and get you to love baseball. I didn't guarantee that I would go Phillies, but it might be fun to kind of, but to me it's just boring, and I don't get the strategy behind it, and I'm like, cool, like absolutely, there's no one's getting hit, like, I also figured out that like I could probably do hockey. Like hockey would probably be more my speed.
Hockey's cool.
The aggression. I went to one hockey game, and I tell you, like me and all my kids, so none of us do hockey. When we saw these guys take their gloves off and just
it's awesome.
Swinging,
It's awesome.
And my son's like, "Ooh, the ref is gonna eject them," and the lady next to us was like, "No, they're allowed if you both take your gloves off." They're like, "What?"
That's amazing. What sport? Like, oh wait a second, and you're skating on knives.
Yeah.
Like you have the ultimate weapon. It's like one of these guys is gonna be crazy enough to take off her skate and just start swinging her around and shit.
Yeah, I was like, could you imagine if that was the rule in football? Is you just take your helmet off and they could just.
Oh, it's good to go. They're good. They're fine. They're good. Is the kicker gonna take off his helmet too? Okay, it's all good. It's game, man.
The kicker.
Imagine that. Imagine like a D-line and a kicker
Are gonna square up again after that whole. Yes.
So we didn't do this on Monday night, but we're gonna do a quick one today.
Oh, perfect.
So bear with me for just a moment.
What are we doing?
Switch this up.
We're gonna switch the graphics. We got to. Hey, by the way, next Monday, that's it. The season's over for me, so I am available for East 10th Street Boys as regularly scheduled.
All right. So there you go. So right after on the clock, we go on the what?
Are we doing Goon Squad? Because next week, Wednesday.
Oh yes, Valentine's.
So I don't know if you guys
probably know Goon Squad.
I'll be with the Heat, and Tati is already cleared that I might go live.
You're gonna go live from the arena?
Yeah, from the arena. So it's either I can hop on Goon Squad, but if you guys have plans, I'll just go live myself with some Sixers fans in surrounded.
In Heat gear? Are you gonna be in Heat gear?
Yeah, of course, gonna be fucking Heat.
What do you think she's gonna be in, Alex?
Awesome,
what do you think she's gonna wear?
I wouldn't go to like a Dolphin Eagles game because.
That's true. You told me.
Yeah, but I will be in Heat gear. I'm gonna get a jacket because apparently that's a thing. My youngest will be in his Heat gear, his little Hemi shirt. My oldest is a Sixers fan, so
I feel bad for him.
Him and his dad. Then my brother's coming. He's a Lakers fan. He's just gonna pretend to be a Heat fan because he prefers the Heat.
Okay.
But yeah.
So
2 out of 3. You did good. You did good, Court.
We'll figure it out. Usually, I'll be honest with you, Todd and I don't really do that. It's just here's a flower. Valentine's, whatever. We've been there, done that. But the week after, I'm traveling down to Florida for the Dolphins Challenge Cancer. So more like I won't be available for that Goon Squad. Alice will probably have to take the lead on that one. But we'll see what happens next week. Maybe we'll just do an episode of Goon Squad with Courtney.
Just
live from the game, just judging people.
I would literally I have so I get social anxiety, but my social anxiety is I just black out.
That's not good though.
Like social, I just get super social. And
okay.
And what I could not tell you what we talked about, what I said, what I divulged. It's just word vomiting. So if you are Courtney, go find some Sixers. I would walk into the bar and be like, hey, do any Sixers fans want to come on live with me? Tell me how it feels to have them beaten.
This actually might be fun.
Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos, los chicharrones. Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo. Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba. Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Le saco el dedo y digo Q. Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Bayo. Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
Welcome, everybody.
I like it.
Right?
This is a show
I like
while doing a show.
This is a
Well,
show
like we talked about Valentine's Day, I'm like, this is a perfect segment. We'll just roll right into East End Street Boys. We're not going to stay on. We'll probably be 10, 15 minutes, but that's okay, you know. And
welcome to East 10th Street Boys. Wow, Bobby.
that's right. And you know what? I have to say, I think Courtney, we've adopted Courtney as an East 10th Street Boy because she has been on like the past few episodes. She hangs out with us after Goon Squad, so she's a part of this group. I mean, there's no filter here. We're like, so we've adopted her in our East 10th Street Boy group.
I'm one of the guys.
You know.
What can I say?
That's
You know?
this show is confusing to me. So anyway, all right. So Tati, let's read some of these comments about Valentine's. Evan says, I'm anti-Valentine. Tati says, Valentine's is an excuse to get my money.
Yeah.
It's true. I could bring her flowers and chocolate strawberries, which she loves, chocolate-covered strawberries. And she'll ask me, with what money did you buy this with? It's not, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's with what money?
Yeah.
So I have to explain that part. So Craig says, I consider Valentine's Day to be a bogus day. Yes, you love chocolate-covered strawberries. We are aware.
Valentine's Day normally.
Hey, Courtney, let me ask your opinion on this. Do you think Tati should do a show with Miss Fins?
Yeah, I told her she should.
Okay. Yeah.
My only concern, and I know where her reservation lies, is that Miss Fins is a mostly dolphin show, and Tati is not very well versed in the Dolphins world. Now, if Miss Fins could convert it to a Heat show, I think Tati would have all the content in the world. But I don't think Tati feels comfortable talking a lot of Dolphins.
I mean, she hears Bobby all the time, so she has to be
She hears him,
exhausted.
but the problem is she's just relaying Bobby's thoughts and opinions.
Yeah.
And she wants to relay her own, but she has those for the Heat. She doesn't have as much. Like, I did ask her, like, her opinion on, like, as an unbiased, like, her Tua feelings and things like that. I think her just concern is that Miss Finn's show is like a whole dolphin show. She worries that she may not be able to. Maybe
we could do like an all-girls show, a panel, all the girls. You know, Miss Fans with Doll and Todd and something like that. That would be a lot of fun.
You know, it'd be fun. Evan, and Tati. That would be a hell of a show.
Yeah, that'd be a good show.
That's a headache waiting to happen for me.
Good luck producing it, Bob.
Me, Evan, and Tati could do a show. Since Evan, disappears and comes back, but I think I could rein Evan in a bit.
If she does a show with Miss Fins before one with Finn Stanta, I'm quitting FTSN.
She did a show with Doll before her husband, so I really don't think you have a leg to stand on here.
That is true.
Well, I told her, she said that in the comments, I think on X, she was like, oh, you're the only one who got me to do a show. He hasn't been able to get me to do a show. And I'm like, I get you to do other things,
Yeah, I went to bump it. Thank you.
Yeah. And she's
Yeah,
like,
show.
like, oh, wow. And I was like, that's what she said.
Hey,
I'll take that, Elle. You take that. Huh?
Said your wife's enamored with my boobs. So.
That's what it is. Yeah. She says mine's weren't big enough. I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay.
But I do think she should definitely go with Miss Fins, but I think that I understand her reservation in a strictly Dolphins type show. But I think if they just talked beforehand, maybe they could make it work. But I can see her reservation. But I do think also like a panel would be good. Maybe where the pressure's not all on her to talk to us.
Exactly.
Tati's I don't know how to say it, stratosphere. Her element would be like a crime podcast. Like if you talk crime, growing up Puerto Rico for sure.
Did you watch Crime Junkies? Murder with My Husband are my two favorite podcasts about crime.
Murder with My Husband?
Murder with My Husband. It's a husband and wife.
Really?
Recount like And then Crime Junkie is like a huge murder.
Crime Junkie and Murder with her husband. Do you watch those podcasts? No? She loves podcasts, so she'll probably.
I go on hot girl walks, and I'm listening to murder podcasts as I walk. Not
every night. If I don't put on something before if I go to like take a shower and she's in bed before me, I'll come out and we're having to watch Dateline. I mean, it's till like 1 a.m. because they keeps going and going. The husband did that, and he goes, or did he? And then it shows like the grocery store clerk, you know.
Snapped is a good one too.
Snack?
Snapped. It's like about somebody who just snaps and kills.
Oh, okay. One.
Yep. But the problem is I'll listen to them on my walk, and every time a car passes me, I'm like, this is it.
This is it.
This is it. If a car goes slow next to me, I'm like, here it is.
It's over. Next time on Dateline.
About it. I'm on my walk, and I'm like, did my kids remember what I was wearing? Like.
Yeah, the documentary I like to watch right now is obviously we watch Dateline. I'll watch Unsolved Mysteries. I grew up on Unsolved Mysteries. Love that show. So when it came back on Netflix, I was like, hell yes. I love the music. It gets me hyped, you know. But one that's just in this Alex is Dark Side of the Ring, which is a damn good. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to enjoy that, but the stories that they cover in there about guys, their lives. They Jake the Snake Roberts, Abdullah the Butcher, Bruder Brozzi, who was murdered in Puerto Rico. I mean, there are some crazy stories in there. I love that thing. I watch that on Hulu, but if I come in too late, Tati has Dateline, and then I have to sit down and watch that. It is what it is, you know.
I'll have to check out Dark Side.
You believe this? This chick watches murder shows about wives and men and children get murdered and the mystery of a kidnapping. But Dark Side of the Ring, because of crack cocaine or whatever, and it's shot there, is too dark for her.
I can understand where she's coming from in this.
I don't. I think you're just standing, you're just trying to be nice. I think you're lying.
I'm blunt. Like
what?
I'm like blunt. Like that. That's like my one downfall.
The Chris Benoit story, like what was messed up. It's hard to see someone have free achievement career. I watched Barney and Friend.
Did you see? Speaking of, we'll bring it back. Looks like oh my god, where is this? Wow, they've been going crazy in the. All right, never. Somebody was saying that the Sixers are down 17, which is kind of nice.
Always nice.
I'd rather we beat them. Because nothing's worse than like going to an opposing team's stadium and your team losing. And
back to the Heat very quick, which is, right now they're up 77-71, 6-point lead. 2 minutes left in the third. Tyler Herro.
78-74.
Oh, okay. Hot shot. Okay. Tyler Herro, 22. Bam Adebayo, 18. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. Now it's moving. What a jack. Stupid, slow thing.
I just had a 3. Pisses me off because we can't seem to make those.
Let us pop this here. All right. Let's do 3 questions, and then we'll wrap this up.
Did you guys not do East Century Boys this week?
We didn't.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
We did not.
Yeah, that's Alex goes, we could do a little bit of that. So I was like, that's a good idea. So that's why I switched it all up. We're doing a little bit of East 10th Street Boys. So let's just do a couple questions. Let's see. I saw one. No, I'm not going with that one because that would be that. That's perfect.
It's because I'm on here, isn't it? I'm on here.
Say what?
Is it because I'm on here?
Well, because honestly, it would probably be perfect for you. And it's like
that makes me nervous about what that means.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, it's just probably gonna answer it, but I won't count it as a question. But what's the weirdest text you've received recently?
So if you would have asked me like DM, I don't give my number out very often. So I don't really get.
It's a Snapchat, right? You talked about the Snapchat earlier.
The hot dog waving around. Yeah, So that would be this morning.
Oh yeah, that was great. Thank you. I'm on my work computer at work, and I'm scrolling down, and all I see is I see this coming up my screen. I go, Jesus! I'm like, it's a hot dog. But I close my laptop.
But the comparison, gold.
Bobby, do you have the report that I was? Whoa! What? Jesus, man! God,
I got to
just
remember
wanted a
during
pie
work
chart,
hours,
Bobby.
mute Courtney's Twitter. Mute Courtney.
Off-season Courtney is bored and just whatever's on my mind is I'm tweeting. In season, it's mainly like Dolphins. Like we're talking about the game. I'm talking about the game for 3 days that I'm going in. Off-season Courtney is like this morning at 7:43 a.m. and I got a morning hot dog picture. Did I ask for it? No. Have I talked to this person in weeks? No. Hot dog pic. I didn't respond.
Like, how do you respond to that? Like, good morning.
So sometimes I just open it and don't say a word.
That has to hurt because, like, okay, she saw it.
Yeah.
What does she think?
Well, in my mind, they're sending it. They're just mass sending it out. I don't think they're just like sending it to me.
You think they're mass sending that?
Yeah,
like it's like a send all.
100%.
Wow.
Especially like because I have not had a conversation with this man. Like we have not spoken in probably a week. So for you to send that to me, there was no way you just woke up and were like, I think Courtney would like this. There's no way. You're sending it out hoping to hook something. I don't. Anyway, I'll either just leave it unopened or one time I wrote back and said, LOL, that's cute.
I don't know which one hurts more. Is the don't respond or like LOL? It's like,
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I like leave it on red, but I'll get another one. I've left this one on red. I'll get another one. If they remind me of like when you're potty training little boys, and they are just like when they discover their wiener and they're just like winging it around. That's what these grown men remind me of.
It's like yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They're saying I called Duncan Robinson my son. There was a trend on Instagram. You'll follow me on Instagram. I am wild there too. And it was like post a picture of your son, and everybody had really cute pictures of their kids. But I try not to post my kids online. So I posted a picture of Duncan, and I did asterisk SUN, like son. And I said he's the light of my life.
He's the light of my life.
I think he's like he's like the light of my off season, but it was just Duncan Robinson. That's just you never know what you're getting from Doll. Like that's the great thing about me. Like you don't know what you're getting over here, but you're gonna get something, all right. Why I'm shocked.
If you could, no, I'm not gonna ask that. These questions suck.
You should ask ChatGPT.
Say what?
ChatGPT. We should just ask ChatGPT like before nights questions.
Oh, this. Let's see. Oh, well, you kind of talked to Tati about this on Doll's Diaries because she told you about a superstition or some superstitions that I have during games, and I appreciate you for being honest and saying that you believe in that as well in regards of some superstition. Because, and I'll just again I'll validate what she was saying. There are some like I will not wear Dolphins gear during a game. I will obviously if I go to the game I'm going to wear it. But if I'm at home, I'm not wearing Dolphins gear during a game. I wear it before, I wear it after. No affection during the game. There is proof, hardcore proof that when there's a kiss exchanged or a hug, whatever, it's ridiculous, but it's true. She's done it before. Oh, I said, all right, she gives me a kiss, interception, and it's like, you see? And then they lose. It's happened.
You're valid.
If I'm sitting in a certain way, like the team's losing, right? They're down. Yeah. If I move, like if I sit and then maybe like my toes kind of go like this on the floor for a minute, all of a sudden, big run, touchdown, my toes aren't moving. I'm staying right there. And don't call me during the game. I will not answer.
No, I don't answer.
Do not call me.
I have started to like live drum tweet during the game, but that's just
Twitter's a little different. I'm off. I don't really like looking at Twitter during the game because people get too caught in their feelings too early. It's like let the game play out, like before we go nuts on every freaking play, Evan. But like here's another proof. I don't like answering the phone. It's a jinx. Here's proof. Ralph, the Dolphins were winning by 2 scores against the Titans or whatever it was. Ralph calls me. Oh man, that was a tough game, but I'm glad we got this win. Blah blah. Okay, well, the game's not over. Touchdown.
He double jinxed you, so he called you and he said we won before the game was over. Oh,
and look what happened. So when people talk about,
you should have never answered that call. So technically, Bobby, we lost because you answered the phone call, man.
I'll take that heat. I'll take that heat. It was wrong.
If I'm sitting and like somebody walks in the room that wasn't in the room before, like if my kids come to ask me a question and say like a bad play happens, I'm like, get the fuck out of this room. But if a good play happens and my kids know it, and the look of doom happens on their face, like if they come in and it's like a Tyreek 60-yard bomb for a touchdown, I'm like, don't move. They have to stay in that spot, standing, like in the open room. And I'm like, you have to stay there until something bad happens now, or it's halftime, because you've brought the juju into the room. You walking in affect the juju that's happening here.
100%.
If whatever I'm wearing for that Dolphins game, whether it be a T-shirt or if we lose, I will not wear that the rest of the season because it now has bad juju on it.
Yep.
The Heat shirt, I didn't wear that after we lost the finals game that I was at. I wore it for the first time like last week.
That boy, man, we're sitting there. The first play is like, it's over. We suck. I'm like, Evan, the game just started. All I did was they just kicked the ball off. He goes, I just didn't like the way they kicked the ball off. I was like, what the fuck? All right, Alex.
I grew up like that too, to make you feel better. Like my dad and brothers are the same way. Like, we were specific side of the couch. My brother had the same terrible towel every game. Like it was
so what is the weirdest superstition you've ever heard? That's the question.
I heard that some people wear the same thing and like don't wash it.
Yeah.
And that to me,
that is true. And that is true. I can vouch for that. That is true.
Cleanliness. So I think just like not washing things is weird. But the juju is absolutely real. I mean, I think that, and I don't usually wear jerseys during a game. For some reason, just wearing a jersey during the game.
And you know what's crazy to me? I used to be very superstitious when I was an athlete and when I would play. But as I got older, I just like to watch the game and not be bothered or talk a lot while I'm watching the game. But one thing I do admit.
But that's a pet peeve. I'm with that as well.
If I walk away and my team is doing better when I'm not watching, I'll actually stay away. I won't watch the game.
No, I've done it.
So that's Miami Heat. So with the Miami Heat, I feel like every time I get away from the TV, they start going. If they're losing, they start going on a run. One day, I'm standing in front of the TV watching the game, and I'm in. It's a playoff game. Tristan's standing behind me, and he starts jumping on my back, and he wants to wrestle. I'm like, dude, I'm watching the game. But all of a sudden, I say, you know what? So I scoop slam him, lift him up, slam him, and we started to go, oh, elbow, and all of a sudden, 3, Duncan Robinson. All right, and all of a sudden, like, let's keep going. It's a 2 out of 3 falls.
I'm not letting you all day.
Fucking choke slam him to the wall.
Rock bottom.
He's crying like, shut the fuck up. I'm just
we'll fucking shit up here, man.
You're doing this for the Heat. Fucking elbow.
Tap out, loser.
Yeah. But it's like that. Crack his toes. I'll go. He goes, Daddy, no. Crack his toes. It's true though.
Son. Do it for the coach.
Do it for the culture.
I'll do it too. If I like went out of the room and something good happens, I'm like, well, I can't move from this spot. Like I got.
Can't do it.
I had to pee. Now I can go.
I'm just in the toilet for 2 hours.
I assume people must think, especially my family here, is that when I leave the room, they go, "Oh, Bobby doesn't really want to watch the Heat." No, it's because I left the room because I believe that's going to help the Heat.
You ever move sometimes to think like if we're losing, I'll purposely move.
I move to the couch. I'll sit in my chair in the living room, and all of a sudden I know we're losing. I'll go sit in the couch now, and I'm going, or I sit in front of the TV, going, let's go.
I go left to the right. I'm like, so I've changed clothes mid game because I'm like everything on me.
I actually do this when it's on double broadcast, like if it's on Bally Sports and ESPN. I like to watch it only on one channel, and if I see that, we're struggling, like I'll switch the channel, like I'll switch to Bally or I'll switch to ESPN depending on the announcer, just to get the vibes. Yeah.
So you see switching seats, and I told you the kissing rule. So like if Ellie comes now, Ellie, I can't really refuse. So I'll kiss her twice. I'll kiss her twice. I'll give her a kiss twice. So like it's like Well, okay, that's gonna set us off. One more kiss. Now we're good again. And then if we start to lose, I'll come back. Come here. Okay, now go.
I trained my kids. My kids know, like they don't.
Yeah, you have to start them young, bro.
They don't
Just
like.
move.
So the older two usually aren't home during golf. Like they'll go with my dad and brother to my brother's house to watch the Steelers game. So like they'll go do like their bro thing there, and then my youngest will be here. But sometimes like the Steelers, if they play like a night game, like if we play at different times, we'll be home. But they know, like sometimes they'll stand in the other room like at the doorway and like call in because they're scared that like if they walk in like they're gonna be stuck there. So like you gotta just train them. Like my littlest one is 6 and he knows. Like he'll be sitting there and I'm like, and he'll be he's going to move. I'm like, I don't know where you think you're going, but like we're here.
It's like, buddy, you're stuck there, man. You're
together.
So
then in my mind, I'm like, you know what? This is just like bonding. Like these are just memories for.
Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves, it's going to stay with this, and then you guys can say what your big pet peeve is. But one of my biggest pet peeves about game time, watching a game, is when someone leaves the room. First off, I don't like being talked to during the game. You know, I let me watch my game. Don't fill it up. Let me, I don't need to hear all the opinions, whatever it is. But one of my biggest pet peeves, if you leave the room and you're gone for like half the game or and you come back and go, oh, what happened so far? Oh, we're down. Why we? No, don't. If you want to know, you watch the game. I'm not going to fill you in watching it. You should be here if you care. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Is that the same for you?
That's a huge pet peeve of mine too.
Yeah, if you want to know, watch it.
Or like if you're watching it with me, but you're not watching it. So I'm like, I like cheer. What happened? Who was that?
Nope.
What was that? What's the flag? What's the penalty?
Don't ask me that. Should have been watching.
Game. Like we'll figure it out together. Or if somebody is like wants to get a hold of me and they're spam calling or texting me during the game because I'm not answering them.
What?
Oh yeah. Like I had an ex who we broke up because he thought that I loved the Dolphins more than him. Because I would be like, listen.
Wait, like is that legit? That's a legit reason? Like it's official?
Well, I mean, this was years ago. This was like.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Was he wrong? But was he wrong?
No, he wasn't wrong, and I told him that. I said, "Listen, when we started dating, I told you I watched the Dolphins alone my whole life. So like, I'm asking you for 4 hours every Sunday afternoon or whenever the game is to just leave me alone. You can go do your thing with your boys. Go watch the Eagle game. Like, have fucking at it." I'm not gonna, and like that sounds. Guys think that sounds cool to start.
It does.
He's like,
sounds
yeah,
awesome.
That's awesome. Because I'm like, go do your boy, go get drunk, go do it. I'm gonna do my Dolphins. But then it was like, he was like, do you want to go apple picking? I'm like, I don't want to fucking go apple picking. Like
apple picking.
Yeah, I got a Dolphins
on
game.
the middle of a game. It's like, come on, man.
What kind of guy? I'm sorry.
Like I'll miss games. I'll miss games for my family. I got no problem.
This is how I learned that there's like there's different levels of fan. I told Todd.
Yeah.
The diehards. There's like the casual because that's the team to like in the area. And then there's like married into it, things like that. He was more of like a casual, like, and I obviously am a psycho. So it.
Well, to me, I honestly like, I've missed many games. Like I don't change my schedule just because there's a game. But if I don't have to miss it, I'm not gonna miss it. Especially for apple picking.
No, like, I changed my schedule for a game. Like
you change your schedule for the game?
100%. Yeah.
No.
The game is my schedule. The Dolphins play 18 weeks in a year.
That's all I get.
I have before and after. If for 18 weeks, either Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday afternoon football, Bobby's gonna watch the game. Do not schedule anything. Don't ask for nothing. That's my thing. I can hang out with you before and after.
I mean, if I have a party or if I ain't get invited to another game, I'm gonna go. I'm still gonna live. I'm still gonna live my life, man.
My brother just had his so my brother's fiance just had her bridal shower, and it was the same day as.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
It was the same day as the London game, the Germany game. It was like 9 a.m. I told her when she was scheduling it. I said, if you want me there because I'm a bridesmaid, it has to be after this time because the Dolphins play at 9 that day, and I'm not coming to your game. And then we get there. You know what they did? My brother brought his laptop, and my dad and brother sat in the corner and watched the Steeler game at 1 o'clock during the thing.
Oh,
it's
if I had to go to a wedding, of course, if you're participating, you wait till it's. And then when I go to sit down, I'm having it right here.
Oh my god, I'm not.
Oh.
My life will revolve around. I've turned down dates. I've turned down family
Good
parties.
for you.
I've turned down.
Good for you.
I get one Sunday. Like I get one day a week for 4 hours that I'm asking you to leave me alone and let me watch my passion and joy.
Preach.
Absolutely not.
Preach.
My other pet peeve is these men on the dating apps who ask me if I want to cuddle during a golf game. I don't want to.
Who cuddles during a game?
That's their opening line. That's their opening line. Do I want someone to cuddle with me during a game? You can cuddle with his elbow because that's what I'm going to be throwing.
Yeah. You're going to cuddle with your mom, loser.
I was like, I'm like, do you?
That's Tristan's new thing. Every time he tells him, like, go to your room. Your mom. Tristan, you stink. Your mom stinks. It's like, what? You know, it's his new thing. It's like, damn. You know who went to her room? Your mom. Like, okay, that's great.
I think it's a perfectly valid lifestyle to live. It's not like I'm like this with like the Heat and the Dolphins, like year round. Like, I respect Bobby.
No, I mean, like, yo, absolutely, but Bobby to that. I mean, what else can you do there? You're just holding the mask, and that's cool. Like, that's.
I'm doing my fatherly duty.
That's all right.
That's different. When it comes to my babies, that's different. They need me for like if something's situated. That's different. But I really do like don't plan anything. If you're going out, oh, we're gonna go out to dinner for the family. Well, if the Dolphins are playing at that time and they don't have a TV, go have fun, go eat, go bring me something later. I'll eat after. You know the Dolphins play on that day. I'm not doing that. Before and after. I get 18 weeks of the season, or maybe playoffs, God willing.
The good news for me is that like, my dad, I grew up that way, so like my mom's used to it. My dad's the same way, so like my family at least is like, no, this is normal. Like we all get it. Like
same, yeah.
Dolphins, so it's hard though because sometimes like we'll be like, all right, well, when do the Dolphins play that week? When do the Steelers play that week? It's easier if we both play at 1 because then we're like, cool. But like if we play at 1 and they play at 4, we're like, well, the whole day is shot now because
it's gone now. It's over.
We ain't doing shit today. You know?
Sorry.
I hope no one has a medical emergency because it ain't happening.
Drive yourself. Actually, my oldest got his permit, so perfect. Take your brother to the ER.
There you go.
Boom.
Hey, final question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I asked ChatGPT, like I told you I would, to give us some questions. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, give me random and funny questions. So I think you should do this next time because.
Okay, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, yeah. This one says, would you rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Damn.
Yeah.
Horse-sized duck?
1
No.
horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses.
I think 100 duck-sized horses. I would not. Ducks can bite. You know those little. I hate ducks. I'd kick one in the face if I saw it.
Not the back.
Horse-sized duck.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a ChatGPT question for you. Highly recommend using it because the other ones are pretty like they're pretty funny.
Really? Okay. There you go.
Any superpower, but it can only be mildly inconvenient.
That's interesting. Mildly inconvenient. We know next time. We'll use that one.
Yeah,
we'll let Courtney do it. Bring it up.
I'm just saying. Questions. There you go.
Absolutely. Here's the last one. What's the best movie what's the movie you've just seen recently, or what's the best movie you've seen recently? Alex.
Best movie oh man. Actually, it wasn't a movie. It was a documentary. It was how they made We Are the World, behind the scenes, like with Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson.
It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix. I actually saw it like 2 days ago, and it was so awesome the way they pulled that off, and how they all got together. And imagine at the time, 60 of the best artists in one room at one time. So it was just cool how they were able to do that. And Quincy Jones is the master producer, so that was fun.
Okay. Courtney, have you thought of one?
Yeah. Maybe controversial. You guys. It was the Eras Tour. I saw it 3 times.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah. I saw it in theaters 3 times, and then I downloaded it drunk one time.
Well, you saw it in theaters 3 times?
I also went to the concert. I went to the concert.
So you are a legit
Swiftie?
I'm an OG Swiftie, as they call me.
OG Swiftie.
Wow.
What?
Like, because I've been here since day one. Because like,
Oh, you're a day one OG.
I'm a day one OG.
Okay.
My little sister actually, like her first concert, I took her to Taylor Swift, and we've gone to every Taylor Swift concert since Taylor's first concert. You know,
Wow.
I got Taylor's Fearless tour, which was like years ago. I think it was like 2009. I got for $75. I got tickets to go see that at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. Now you cannot pay that for a ticket. But yeah, no, but so it's definitely the Eras tour because I'm
Okay.
Actually, I just read this, guys. I was following through. Jimmy got a technical foul for pointing at each referee and calling them trash. Like, I can see that.
today.
You're trash. You're trash. You suck. We
Wait,
do that a lot.
During this game,
Yeah.
I
We've got it teed up. In high school, you know what's funny? Obviously, there's one head coach and 2 assistant coaches. So the assistant coaches, we're not allowed to get up during the course of the game. Obviously, we get up in timeouts and all that. But obviously, the referees know us, so we're randomly just getting up and all that. We got teed up like 15 times this year for standing out of place, combating the call. We got a bench warning because I was talking to one of the referees, and like he made a bogus call. And as our players shooting, or like the other players shooting the free throw, I'm just like looking around, like, yeah, ball doesn't lie. He's like, you need to stop that, okay? You need to stop. He got all offended on me. He's like, I'm just making a statement. The ball doesn't lie, bro. That's it, sir.
I get along with the referees. I get along. Yeah, I get along with the referees. Yeah,
that'd be hilarious though. Like kicking and screaming type shit. You should go off.
Yeah.
No, Bobby's too like. He's too like,
what?
You're too PG. I feel like you're too like you like a mediator. Like you're very like you have mediator vibes. So I can see you like smoothing it over, like But you'll go in the car.
He does, but until you push him, like if you push him too much, that whole mediator side, like if you do something over and over and over, that whole mediator side will turn into like what do you call this? Annihilator side. Like he'll just go off on that. On a little 5-year-old.
Once it starts, it doesn't end. So Alex, appreciate that. You're not wrong, actually, Courtney. You're kind of a little bit on the money.
Yeah, you're good.
I just feel like I feel like you're very like I don't know. Like I just think that you'd be a good coach because I think you're mellow and you're like, let's work it out, let's calm down. Like you're kind of like the voice of reason and like calming. Whereas like me and Alex are, throwing elbows at refs. You're kind of like, now let's take it down a notch. Alex.
So we know if this was a situation where you guys are the assistants because you're going to get technically I'm the calm one, and then I'll let Alex go ahead and go off on the referee because he's the one he can get technical and get kicked out. I'm still there. It's all good.
I'll just go there and be like, what? Because I'm a woman?
Just take out that card.
We'll throw everything. Alex gets kicked out. I'm like, because I'm a woman, right? Like the best thing is like,
you know what's funny? What's awesome about this year, my role, I had to be the calm one. Because usually, like, when you're like a top assistant or one assistant, you got to be the one that like kind of levels out the head coach a little bit. Because the head coach is fiery at times. There's head coaches that are mellow, but part of the frustration that comes out is you have that fiery side. So it was cool for the first time ever. I was able to play the calm, level-headed assistant where I can talk to players on their own and just focus on the developing and assist in the rotations. And obviously we design plays. We all share about, it's a really cool group to work with. But you still need to be level-headed because you got to keep somebody, on the cool side. You can't just tip over every time.
No,
But remember, you walk out with conviction. You point fingers. I told you, just pick somebody and point at them. Just point.
Just walk out in the middle of the field, call a timeout.
Oh man, and point. Point at somebody and like throw a clipboard if you have to once in a while. That's okay. That's cool.
I didn't bring a clipboard last time, but
you have to.
My son's team hasn't won a game yet, so like we're. Yeah, they're terrible.
We need to revamp.
My dad was like, "Should I take over coaching?" I'm like, "Dad, it's a rec league, and like none of them actually fit basketball. Like you don't need to come in. We're not subbing you in. Like it's fine. Because if you give me 2 weeks to draw plays up, I'm like, we play once a week, then we can practice. We're good."
Oh, you guys have a practice?
It's a rec league. No, it's like a little rec league. They lost to a team where like half the team was like wearing glasses. Not even goggles.
No, nothing against kids with goggles or Special Olympics or anything. Please, guys, don't
Alex,
do
stop
anything.
Stop it, Alex.
Hey, it was there, bro. It was there, man.
I know.
The Family Guy skit. Tell me the Family Guy skit wasn't hilarious. Of the Special Olympics skit. You got when they're marching and everybody is the introductions. Bobby, you know exactly what I'm talking about, man. You haven't seen it?
He has.
Oh,
He's mediating it.
Yeah, he's just there.
Yeah, he's mediating it.
Yeah, it's like, oh boy, that's a fine.
Oh man, Courtney's not being invited back. It's fine.
South Park is awesome.
So the last movie the movie I just saw recently was in the theater, and that was Godzilla -1, in black and white.
Did we like
that?
it?
I actually did, because my son. I grew up loving Godzilla, but Tristan really loves dinosaurs and Godzilla. So I told him, I said, do you want to go? I mean, but I told him it's a foreign film. It's Japanese, and it's not like the new one or the one with Godzilla vs. Kong. But I saw a lot of great reviews. So I was like, I want to go see this. I had to go see it in black and white because I didn't have it in color. And I got to tell you, obviously Godzilla is the main attraction, but the story, the characters, like there's some drama in there. It was a great movie. We really, and then of course when Godzilla finally comes out of the ocean, my son, it was like, yes, when the music, I really enjoyed it. Like I'm gonna buy it when it comes out because it's really good. Yeah.
Would you buy it in color or would you buy it in black and white again?
Yeah, it's a great. I'd probably special edition because you get both. Okay. But I'll tell you what, if you don't mind black and white, watch it in black and white. It was really good. It wasn't just
it's a cool effect, like watching a movie in black and white.
It felt old. It felt like because that's what they wanted to do to give you that feel to it. They did the regular version, and it was huge. It was a huge success, more than most people believe it was going to be. And then they okay, we're going to re-release it now in black and white. So I couldn't watch it in color even if I wanted to, but I watched it black and white, and honestly, it felt like I was watching an old movie. The music, the character, and it's all in Japanese. You got to read the letter, the words, but it was a great movie. Like seriously, like it's not one of those movies that you watch once. You could watch it multiple times and enjoy it. It's a good story. So truthfully, if you guys haven't seen it and everyone watch it, if you like those type of movies, watch Godzilla -1. No, great movie. Closed caption. Thank you, Tati. But anyway,
I knew she was gonna say something where you have to read the words.
Subtitles. Your younger self is kicking you, saying you like black and white. Yeah, well, film school did that for me, Josh. When I went to film school, I learned to appreciate that more. Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, watching those films because of the film class. That's how Top and I met. We met in film school, and that made me appreciate it a lot more. Those type of movies. Gone with the Wind. I watched that in Casablanca.
Casablanca is amazing.
Great films, and again, you have to love movies or just love story in order. Because some people are like, okay, that's boring. But if you like storytelling and stuff, as I do, and Alex knows that, then I can sit down and watch that. Yeah. So I don't mind black and white films. It just has to be good stories. But anyway, I have not yet.
No, I haven't either, but I'm like debating if I want to see it or not. I've heard mixed reviews about it.
Citizen Kane, It Happened One Night. Yes, It Happened One Night, Clark Gable. Because of watching Gone with the Wind, which is a 3-hour, I think it's a 3-hour or 6-hour, I don't know. It's a long film. But Clark Gable, I love Clark Gable now. And so I watch a lot. I like watching Clark Gable films. It Happened One Night is a great movie. That's hilarious, but black and white. But I don't mind that. What else was I going to say? Gosh, I just forgot. It's all right. Maybe it'll come to me.
It'll come to you when we are done.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
And we are gonna wrap it up. But any final thoughts, Courtney, before we wrap this up?
No. I'm happy to see the Heat have a lead, and we're going. And I think I learned a lot about you guys tonight. I think you learned a lot about me. I feel like we really shared. But no, I have fun. I love that we just went into East 10th Street Boys. I think that I like that we just kind of float with it. And yeah, I'm just kind of happy that it looks like we're on a win streak. And I'm not going to jinx it. I got a home one.
I know. They just came back. No, just kidding.
It is 110 to 100, but there's only a minute and 11 seconds left. So I'm hoping that we can at least.
Well, yeah, there's no Reggie Miller, so I think we're safe.
I mean, we're not playing the Titans. So.
Yeah. Why'd you do that? Alex, any final thoughts?
Well, no, in regards to Heat Nation, just be patient. Like I said, it's going to continue to develop. I don't foresee big names being moved. I do see a big buyout market, depending on one name to watch, if it's moved or not. Gordon Hayward, that's another option there. So it's going to be an interesting kind of like, obviously he's going to rev up, but I believe it's going to be a lot of secondary moves. There's a lot of complementary parts move. Obviously, there's still a chance that DeJounte Murray stays with the Hawks, but you want to at least have some movement to create. But it's going to be mostly depth pieces, second round picks, things of that sort. A lot of salary, expiring deals possibly moving. So, but either way, it's still fun, and Heat are still going to continue to improve. Spo will continue to tinker with the rotation at times, and hopefully everything with the Highsmith situation also pans out for the person that was hurt, for the other person involved, and Highsmith as well. And that's pretty much it, man. Everybody have a good night. Enjoy.
There you go. All right, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we will have our debut baseball show on deck with Russ Morgan and Rob Mosley covering everything Major League Baseball. They're going around the league with spring training coming up. I'm very excited for that. The network continues to grow. Again, I am just excited. Russell does our Touchdown in Paradise podcast with Justin, who does, of course, he was with us on Goon Squad, but he's going to now do our baseball show, and he's on our draft show as well, On the Clock. Of course, happy to have Courtney on board. I mean, the pit bull of the network. She's made herself. I mean, it's just like she's been here forever. I don't know what it is without her. So just happy to have her here. So Friday, join us for the Baseball on Deck podcast. I'm excited for that. And Saturday, I believe we're going to take it off unless something breaks, because I have my last game of the season for basketball. And then Monday night, again, tune in for On the Clock at 8 o'clock Eastern. Our draft show. We got a lot of. Say what?
Tall's Diaries at 7:30.
Oh, sorry. And Doll's Diaries on Dolphins Thirsty YouTube channel with Courtney. So make sure you tune into that if you're thirsty for Dolphins content, which has a whole new meeting now for Courtney. With Courtney on board.
We're back to Dolphins. I'm actually doing a draft show this Monday.
There you go. So at 7:30 Eastern Time on Dolphins Thursday, tune into Doll's Diaries. She'll be covering the NFL draft. And then stay around with Draft Talk. Go switch over to Finstock Sports Network for On the Clock. And we're going to have, we'll talk on, my goodness, I don't know what position. We talked offensive line. We talked linebackers. Probably talk tight ends this week, this coming week. And we'll do our War Room, which is a new way of doing the mock draft simulator. Very excited about that. And we're working on our top 100 list. I'm actually doing the 260 players ranking. So we got a lot of great things coming on with Josh Wingate and company. And then East 10th Street Boys, Monday night. Should be back on that normal loop at 9:15.
That's right.
Probably.
We back, baby.
A, B, C, D. All right.
Baby.
Everyone, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you later. Good night. If I don't see you, good morning, good evening, and good night.
It's the Finstock Sports Network, FTSN, talking major sports and even wrestling. Bobby Finstock and his FTSN crew, they're taking deep dives just to entertain you. Talking Dolphins, Heat, and Hurricanes, Marlins, and